The Young Man's Story, Chapter 5, Necessary Detours Part 2. 5:9:03 a.m. Dream. More of a mind's eye thing actually. I was awake, starting to drift off to sleep, when in my mind's eye, I saw a figure. Just the view their midsection. I could see their belt. And their hands. On his right hand, a large male figure, bulky male. On his right hand there was this very bright teal emerald ring. He started to move his hand slightly left to right to make the ring catch the light. To catch my attention. The message was clear to me. It was a control thing. Like hypnotic. The young man.
That's excellent. What's the good to extract? You were aware. You know about it now. You're empowered. Most excellent. You know to not be taken in. Awesome. Yay.
That image seems to be dominating my mind. Having trouble shaking it off. Need to find a way, yet every other way is also another old way. And the left side of my body feels different than the right side. Heavier. Cloudier.
Interesting. So you need a way to push them away. To disconnect. Yes?
I'm aware, lots. Usually the symbols I see are soothing, kind, gentle. Hearts, bursts of loving light, etc. This was unusual. And not unsurprising when one considers recent conversations on the ECP incident, and the shadow stuff. It's likely just mind putting images to fear. Mind making up story. Apparently I have a very creative mind lol. Typically, I would call for protection in a situation like this. So instead, I will know everything is okay.
And yes, there's a but.
This is about power. This is about my power.
Trust now. Trust that the you will show a new way. Shift your trusts there, I would say. And just be open to a new solution coming from the universe, from yourself. A warrior is impeccable when they trust their personal power, no matter how small it may be. It always depends. Yeah, has its value.
Yeah, just as I said that, I had a feeling that it's time to stop fighting. Stop fighting, that's significant.
We'll get back to the warrior perspective in terms of the story. We were on it. It's that start of the larger story, and we're making a big detour which will connect back to the warrior aspect of it all again. And how things developed from there.
Just breathe. Just breathe in the light.
Breathe in smiles of power.
Don't do anything.
Yeah. Not doing. One of the techniques for erasing personal history. Along with gazing and the gate of power. Smile.
Gazing? Oh boy. Hopefully not into eyes. Lol, tee-hee.
Lol, no, gazing into eyes, specifically not recommended. Takes lots and lots of power.
Just joking.
Gazing is a not doing. Gazing in the not spaces. Yeah, but a cool intuitive joke. Value in it.
Oh, I do that all the time, a little differently perhaps. Big thing for me, the not space. The space between things.
That gazing is just letting not come into being. To connect to not as a way of disconnecting from a doing. Like your dream focus ATM is a doing.
Lots going on there.
Yes. This, big thing for me, the not space, the space between things.
Right. Mindlessness.
What I was trying to say. Smile.
Question mark. I'm fascinated by it.
Well, yes and no. We don't want to create a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum and will seek to fill it in some way.
Observation.
Just meant we said the same regarding gazing.
Got it.
It's a focus on the non-specific. So it's a specific disconnecting from what's specific.
Yes. That to me really is the essence of mediation. Meditation. Smile. Non-specific observation.
Yes. Connecting to the unknown also. Smile. When the known is a problem, the solution can only be in the unknown.
That's the only way, to touch the unknown. To observe openly.
Yes.
Nice. I like that one. Roz?
To observe openly, yes. Smile. Not to Roz, no. For a rule of sentience it'll have to be tightened. Makes sense now in context, but a ROS has to be able to completely stand on its own without any context at all. But would be fun to refine into a rule. Maybe a good exercise ATM by way of focus shifting.
Force of circumstance.
Yes. That's the power of attunement via alignment.
What if your language is just another trap for me? It's your philosophy, not mine. Even though it makes sense. By focusing on it, by relying on it in any way, in another matrix.
Force of circumstance is the wave, surfing the alignment. FOC is the wind, sailing is the alignment. Circumstance, anomalies, happenings, pressure, all force of circumstance. Yeah, could be indeed. Why discrimination, discernment, figuring it out, making it your own are so imperative? Because all language is not our own. So to make it one's own we have to go to the root conception, the foundations, and then go from there. Doesn't matter if it's someone else's structure or not. I don't have to build the house myself to live in it and use it. But I do have to check out its soundness for myself.
That's how you do it. Lol. For me, just doesn't compute.
And now lol, you know why I so balked at your student-teacher comments. That relationship can only be with the you. That's to me where at times like this one has to focus. You are experiencing a most valid doubt. The doubt of determining validity. And ultimately, my me, my I, myself, my local me, is way inadequate for determining validity. My personal judgment is always suspect. That's why I changed my life, as in the gift of intent, GOI, for the exact reasons you are now experiencing. Because I cannot, with any certainty, be sure of determinations of validity. The only way I can be sure of validity is when it comes from the universe. Or my subconscious really, greater self, whatever. Just a term here. Lol, it actually does for you. You're doing that exact thing now. You are going to the root of the issue, which is determining validity.
So, continue with the YYM story now, since it's all related to this. Most perfect, don't you think?
So, this connects to that potential ROS. When the known is a problem, the solution can only be in the unknown. It's much more intimately connected to this exact moment right now.
Okay, you go.
It's simply a perspective issue. I see you doing what I'm talking about, but the description doesn't connect and resonate with you. That's exactly why for each ROS there are the alternate variations. Because almost always when we say the exact same thing, but in other ways, it connects at some point if it didn't connect before. Even if one specific alternative way of saying does not connect, the accumulation of all the various ways. It's simply a perspective issue. I see you doing what I'm talking about, but the description doesn't connect and resonate with you. That's exactly why for each ROS there are the alternate variations. Because almost always when we say the exact same thing, but in other ways, it connects at some point if it didn't connect before. Even if one specific alternative way of saying doesn't resonate, the accumulation of all the various ways of expressing the same point builds up, and allows for comprehension. It's an awesome mechanism. So how many different ways can you say this? That's the only way, to touch the unknown, to observe openly.
Yeah, good question. Must work now though.
KK, laters, let it rumble around inside. Smile.
Are you writing?
Not ATM, I have an unfinished part sitting here. But it's a cue for me when I resume, a placeholder. Sorry. I guess you seeing dancing dots. I'm commenting from a second window. I'll save that unfinished comment for later, when I resume. There you go. Sri. Stuff happens to get in the way, but patience rules the day. Smile.
Haha. No problem.
Smile. Heart, how things coming for you now?
Feeling better, doing nothing helped. Smile.
Good. Yay. Listening.
Yeah, learning to really just observe and not react or analyze those things seems key. To be amused perhaps, or no emotion at all, instead of getting caught up in what did that mean? Nothing.
Yes. And always to look for some sort of positive. That doesn't always mean positive feeling. Knowing what not to do is very positive. So there's always something positive. Something to learn. In this case maybe just something like learning to be able to be still and not stress when encountering such things. I think that's huge. To be able to regulate our feelings towards stuff. Much of predation is activated or triggered by victims behaving like victims. When they don't, it can completely nullify predatory instincts and behaviors.
It is huge. On many levels. It's huge to not react, as that's what causes those PTSD moments to imprint in our muscles and tissues, etc. It could be nothing at all, yet if in our unawareness, we react to it, then all of a sudden now it's something, and that something can stick with us for decades. Like the time when I was maybe 8 or so, when I asked my uncle next door where he was going as he was walking, and he looked at me and said, jokingly, "To hell. Want to come along?" I was shocked and so upset and confused. I thought, now why would he go to hell, and why would he ask me to go? It confused me and I never forgot. It imprinted on me in the most peculiar way. Lol.
Yes. Emotional associations can be completely random. Purely triggered by happenstance. Most cool L. Yes, lol. But those can be dealt with, be diffused. Just recruit patient attention to the various components of such imprints. Once there's a connection to the deep logic, there's change when that logic is seen for what it is. But this has to be done inside the event, as it were. Mostly it's really just a very basic process of spelling out in boring and self-obvious detail each step of the original assumption. We know internally what it's all about, but those internal thoughts about the issue have to be expressed out loud to make them real and see the false logic. Often the barrier is just something as trivial as feeling silly about it. So the precise silliness of it is actually a way to dispel the misbelief. Smile. But lol, amazes me the things people say.
Yeah, just had a good silly laugh. I tend to be more of a feel it out rather than logic it out type. As soon as I try to spell out the ABC of it, my mind seems to go to mush.
But you do it well nonetheless.
Well, yeah, I am a Virgo, after all. So, analysis comes somewhat natural on certain levels.
That mush is the body resisting change. Lol, the bureaucrats of the self resist change any way they can, even if it's good for them. They're deathly afraid of any change. Once we realize it's that Bureau of Change Resistance who's the culprit, then we can power through it. Becomes easier and easier. The key is of course to do it unemotionally. That's the tool they use to keep us in line, our feelings and emotions. It's why sobriety is so paramount. And why being able to not let those feelings affect us is one of the key parts of impeccability.
It's like when underscore and I used to argue about stuff, which rarely happens anymore. But when it did, I could not remember any details at all like 2 minutes later. Just the emotion of it. None of the words or points either we were trying to make. Where he would remember every detail, me, none of them.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm talking about. When emotion seizes us, logic and sensibility go out the window. So one just has to practice setting feelings aside. How I feel does not have to be connected to how I think.
Such a balance, between control and detachment.
Controlled abandon, yeah. For me what's helped is to develop the power of pause. That's all we need sometimes. And of course the best technique of all is the anticipation mindset. Where we get into the habit of looking ahead for a few seconds. We see stuff coming and have a bit of time to prepare. Makes all the difference. We can then set ourselves. And that's huge. We aren't sucked into an immersion.
How is anticipating different from steering, or are they the same, do you think?
Oh, not connected in the least. An example. Walking to the car. Usually for most people they walk to the car, get to the door, then take out their keys. With an anticipation mindset we're looking ahead and of course know we are going to the car, so we can take out our keys while we walk.
Okay, so, be prepared.
Simple example but makes a big difference. Not only are we more efficient but of course if there's something amiss near the car or whatever, we're looking up, looking ahead, we're open, and we can extrapolate. It's more than being prepared, but that's a part of it. Being prepared is a consequence of the anticipation mindset. One of them. It's mainly just about having more time. If we are always reacting, we have little time to choose our responses. We react usually with whatever comes out. And of course, in relationships that's not always the best if there's some emotional charge. But if we had a few moments within which to consider, we can be more prudent, more diplomatic, more appropriate, in whatever way needed. We thus create the opportunity to choose a response, rather than just reacting with whatever comes up first. So the anticipation mindset is about buying time. And that gives us choice. 5/9/105 p.m. Continued in Chapter 6, The Magic of Context. Hashtag the young man, hashtag determining validity, hashtag awareness, hashtag Biella series, hashtag Bookstagram, hashtag anticipation, hashtag not doing, shifting focus, hashtag finding calm, hashtag personal philosophy.